There are only three ways to make money in the home services industry, and if you're not crystal clear in which one you're focused on, you're probably working harder than you need to and not getting ahead. Hey there, it's Chris with Footbridge Media. We're a marketing agency that works exclusively with contractors and home service providers, and we've done so for 20 plus years. We've worked with thousands of contractors. We've seen lots of small businesses in different growth points. So we've seen firsthand what can happen if you don't have focus and a purpose in running your business. If you're stuck spinning your wheels or you feel like you're always busy but you're never growing, this message is for you. Today we're breaking down the only three ways to make money in this business and how you can use that knowledge to grow without burning out. Make sure you are subscribed if you want more contractor marketing tips and tricks like this in the future. And also make sure you stick around to the end where we're going to talk about how you can carve out your own path to home service success. Number one is working, is trading your time for money, clocking in, clocking out. This is where most people start, and especially for small business owner operators, it's where way too many people stay stuck, unfortunately. So if you're clocking in for somebody else, or if you're wearing all the hats in your own business, you're putting a lot of time in. When you're working for somebody else, more hours mean more pay. Time is literally money in your instance. But if you're a small business owner, that story's a little bit different. And whether you're working for somebody else or working for yourself, if you're great at your craft, you can probably demand higher rates, but still, your ceiling is still tied to your time. When you're a small business owner operator, the amount of time you put in isn't directly related to how much money you make. That's why this path is the most exhausting and the least scalable of the three paths. There are some actionable steps that you can take. Track your time and your tasks. Find the things in your work processes that maybe could be automated or made more efficient or completely offloaded. Consider your focus. There may be certain types of jobs or certain specializations where your skills are more valued, where you're more efficient. It also makes sense to stack your schedule a little more smartly. If you can avoid dead time between jobs or reduce the amount of time you're driving, that helps you to be more efficient and ultimately get more money out of your time. It's also important if you're running your own business, make sure you're using some sort of online booking, some sort of CRM tool that reduces the amount of admin drag, the amount of time you're spending on stuff that isn't directly making you money. That might be tools like the Footbridge dashboard. Way number two that you can make money in this business is by selling, by turning your skills into transactions. This is the first instance where you can break the time for money situation. If you know how to sell, if you know how to close well, your income becomes more about your influence than your specific direct effort. Sales is where your communication, your confidence, your pricing strategy, all of that pays off. So you don't have to be the best tech to get the job done. You need to be the one who can close the deal. What you say, how you say it, when you say it, all these things matter. There are a couple steps that you can take to make sure you are maximizing your abilities, whether you're a salesperson working for somebody else or if you're running your own business. You need to have a basic sales script. That doesn't mean you should be reading from a sheet of paper every time you have a conversation with somebody. Chances are you're going to be having conversations and you're going to have the same objections. You should have a few good solid lines that you can repeat to address the common objections and concerns of potential customers. You should also practice upselling and bundling wherever possible. HVACs can schedule in future preventative maintenance services. Pressure washers can bundle more property washing. There are opportunities for you to earn more and create higher tickets on every single job. You should also invest in your presentation materials. If you're doing estimates, if you're taking photos of your work, if you're getting more reviews, building up your website, all these things make sense in giving you the tools necessary to better sell yourself and your service. You also need to respond quickly. You need to follow up fast. Generally speaking, with a lot of home services, the first person to get to the job usually wins the job. So make sure you are prioritizing those phone calls, those emails, and those text messages to get the jobs booked fast. And the third way that you make money in the home service industry is by owning. And by owning, I mean specifically building systems that allow you to earn money while you sleep. This is true scale, and this is a totally different kind of challenge. Ownership is about turning your business into a machine, not just a job. You make money through the efforts of other people as supported by the systems that you've put in place and your leadership. The challenge isn't necessarily hard work. It is very difficult to set up this kind of situation. The harder part usually is letting go of doing everything yourself, understanding that you are there to provide the foundation and the ongoing support, not to do the day-to-day work. A few actionable steps: if this is the path that you think you want to take, you need to make sure you hire just a little bit before you're ready. You need to be uncomfortable with your first hires. I'm not saying you should hire a full-time employee with benefits, but maybe you start with a helper, a virtual assistant, a part-time tech that you can call in when you get a little bit of extra work. You also need to document your processes so that when you do bring other people on, you can deliver consistent results. You also need to build a referral program. That's really important for home service businesses. If you have happy clients and a strong brand, that can get you more work year over year without you having to do that work. You need to make sure that if this is the trajectory you want, you are focused on high leverage tasks, the places where your time and effort are best applied, like overseeing your marketing, determining your price strategy, figuring out your team culture, making sure you've got all those systems in place and that you understand the systems that are working efficiently for you so that you can make more money without necessarily having to put in more time yourself. You also need to figure out how to use data to track the information that you need to track. It's better to use data than it is to try to micromanage every single job, every single transaction, every single customer interaction. And if you're trying to take a step away and trying to become more of an owner and less of a worker, you need to schedule time away from the tools. If you're always in the field, you can't be spending time on your business, developing your foundation, and leading your company. So we've learned today that every dollar you earn in home services comes from one of three buckets, either working, selling, or owning. So take a step back and look at where you are right now in your business life. Ask yourself if you're happy with where you're at right now. For a lot of contractors we work with, they are perfectly content to stay in that first phase, trading time for money, because it affords them the freedom that they want, and they don't necessarily want to grow a huge company. And if that works for you, that's awesome. But if you want to make more money, first you got to figure out where you are now and then figure out where you need to go next. If you're in that working phase still, focus down on your skills, work more efficiently, find ways to streamline your operations. If you're moving into that selling phase, focus on sales training, learn more, improve yourself, think about those FAQs, identify your competitors' weaknesses, and sell around them. And if you want to build up your company to the point where you're really owning, where you really set up a solid foundation for your business, your company to continue on without your day-to-day help, focus on the systems and the foundation and the leadership, not just finding bodies to fill spaces in. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be intentional with how you grow your business. If you need help finding the best ways to improve your business, the pros here at Footbridge Media are always ready to help. You can learn more about how we help contractors just like you by visiting us online at footbridgemedia.com.